Hello and welcome to the His and Her Show with Jody
and Alex Misiak.
And today we're going to talk about something that is possibly a little heated in our house.
Okay, yeah, something that's maybe generated a bit
So
of debate between us.
Yes, because I mentioned it earlier and I was like, whoa, let's not get into this too much yet. Let's make this a podcast episode. So one of the things I observed, or not even observed, I was just thinking, when do you get kids involved in things? Like, so there's dance and there's kung fu or karate or jiu-jitsu.
Or any kind of sport, really.
Yeah, like hockey and soccer.
Yeah,
music lessons and horseback riding and just there's so many things. Gymnastics. So I was like, when does it be? And actually, I think I phrased it something about, are parents putting their kids in it because that's something they wanted to do as a kid but never had a chance to? Or is it the kid choosing?
Right.
And that's where you and I were, I think you were just, because I'm just like, is it good for the kids? And you're all for it, having kids in sports and stuff. And so am I. But I wonder, when does it come from the child's point of view? Like, the child wants it? Because you see kids like in dance, like we tried, I think, putting Anastasia in dance when she was 2 or younger. Like, was it 2? Jaden was just born. Anyways.
3-ish.
Yeah, 3. Maybe even once before that, though. Like, we kept trying.
We did 2 rounds of it, I think.
Yeah, in 2 different times, I think. But it's like, when is it a parent wanting to fulfill their own dreams and live vicariously through their children?
Kids?
Or when does it become the child's choice? Like, you look at a lot of young kids and things. And I know personally from our own experiences, is our kids are free-spirited children. And we've had them, Jaden so much hasn't done too much yet. But it's like, our kids are at a young age where they're not showing interest in certain things yet. So how does that, I'd love your thoughts on this a little bit.
There's a lot to unpack on both sides of the equation there. So let me talk about the first side, which is, how do you know that the kid wants to do it? And it was pretty obvious that Anastasia didn't want to do it, right? But we had to get her in there first, right? And some of these things, your kid isn't necessarily going to say, I want to go do this. If you have a kid that does that, then that's okay. If you have a kid that says, I want to do this, and you're like, great. But
here's the other thing. Your kid might be doing it just to please you. Like, say we didn't have a free-spirited kid that wanted dance, but we put her into dance thinking, and we actually put her into dance because she showed signs of loving dance. That's why we did dance. And when she got in there, it's like too many rules for our kid to follow at least at that age. But some kids will be like, well, my mom, like they think like they don't say it out loud, but a lot of children want to please their parents. So when do you decide that that's great for kids, for your children?
Well, like that's the other side that I didn't get to about like getting to the how, like where does your ego fit in? And the short answer to that is your ego shouldn't fit into it at all, but it may. So how to check to see whether your ego is actually fitting into it? But if I circle back around, first thing is, get your kid, you got to expose your kid to, or your kids to certain activities, and they will, you're right, it can go one of 2 ways. They'll either be like, nope, I don't want to do this. Well, actually a couple ways, but like the one is, no, I don't want to do this, and that'll be pretty obvious, like it was with us. Like, we tried twice because we're like, well, maybe she's too young, let's try again. And I was like, no, this just isn't the way she wants to.
It wasn't the type of dance she liked.
Yeah, exactly, which is totally fine. And you got to be, so... And I guess it also feeds into a parent as well. It's like we stepped back and said, okay, she doesn't want to do this, right? We didn't force the issue. We didn't say you must do this, right? We didn't say you have to. I think we said, let's just keep going till it's over, and then we'll stop. Which is because we paid for the lessons ahead of time. And it's like, okay, well, now we'll stop.
Unfortunately, I think for all kids' activities, you have to
pay the whole thing,
or at least around here.
Yeah, that's probably true. But there are some things are definitely month to month as well. So anyways, so that's the takeaway there. It'd be like, okay, if your kid clearly is not enjoying themselves and then they don't want to do it, and you as the parent have to take yourself out of the equation and be like, okay, why do I want my child to do this? That's the other thing. You have to ask, why do I want my child to do this? So if you're saying things like, I want my child to do this because I never got a chance to do this, and then stop right there, because that's a red flag. It doesn't matter what you wanted to do, and there's nothing stopping you from doing that kind of stuff now if you wanted to, like that. So put that in your back pocket. That's not what your kid is a completely different human being, and they may or may not like what you wanted to do, but you can expose them to it for sure. And they may like it, and then that's when you continue. And then the trickier side of it that you asked about is, well, how do you figure out whether a kid is doing it just to please their parents? And that's a little harder, because for me, I never did anything to please my parents. I'm just gonna do my own thing, and if you like it, great. If you don't, you don't. I don't.
But coming from a people-pleasing person,
yeah. So yeah.
No, I didn't ever. I don't think I ever stayed in anything to please my parents. But I feel, given the right circumstances, I actually ended dance when I was a child just because a friend backed out. So it wasn't the pressure of my parents. It was peer pressure. But I just know that sometimes kids can, depending on the relationship and how they've been brought up, can definitely just keep doing things. I've definitely seen situations where kids have stayed in something just based on pleasing. It depends on a culture too thing. It's a lot of the time it's culture related.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's true.
And but it's just their expectations, right? They're like, well, I have to be in this music lessons because that's their expectations from my parents or whatever it might be. So it's just a fine line. So I actually want to ask you this, because you're it's the why. I know you want our kids in things. So why is that so important to you? I'm just curious.
Why is it important for our kids to be in things?
Because I'm for it too. So I'm curious to just know what your why is. That's all.
It gives them something to do. 2, it's structured, and structured, any kind of structure is good to introduce because it bleeds into other areas of your life. There's a lot of structure in your life, and as long as you leave room for unstructured play, learning, that kind of stuff, think about how much time we spend in school, from the earliest days.
Which is horrible.
Yeah, in some ways it's terrible, but all of that's very structured, right? So,
but we've actually gotten to a society where there's too much structure.
There can be.
And that's why forest school is becoming so popular.
Yes, there can be, for sure.
And that's why they want to be getting more grades into forest school, because there's too much structure in the school systems now. And then people are losing their own individualness. And that's where I find it a little crazy. It's almost like they need to have a place where kids can do. I don't know if you had it in high school, but when I was in high school, we had all the arts. You had a little bit of every art.
Yep.
And I really feel like kids need to be able to try everything before they base it on them. Because if they do something because we're involved in it, say you were still in jiu-jitsu constantly, and that's what they wanted to do. What are they doing it for? Is it because you're in it, or is it because that's something they want to do? So it's finding that fine line between why are the kids doing it? So yes, you need to ask the parents themselves need to ask why am I getting my kids involved? And then the other side is why do the kids want to get what is their why?
Yeah.
Does it bring them joy? Because if it doesn't, why are they doing it, kind of thing. And then also one of the biggest things I heard when I was going through my own really just discovering who I was is one of my mentors was so many people are just it was reemphasized or is that they are literally putting their kids in everything. So the point that their kids can't have childhoods anymore. I don't want to live in a life where it's Saturday morning we wake up early, Sunday morning we wake up early. Oh, after school we have to get here, after here. Your kids don't get to be kids and just be. Because one of the biggest things is kids need to learn to get bored. Because if they don't experience that as a kid, when they're an adult and they get bored,
they're going to be looking
they're
for something
going
to
fill it
that,
up. And then this is where being mindful and slowing down and meditating get lost. So it's about like I said, it's a fine line, and this is where it can be really heated here because everybody has their own input, but and I love it. It's like, why is the parent, doing it? And that's why I wanted to know your why, because I am for it as well. But I also believe that it should probably just be one thing at a time until the kids are old enough to choose their own schedules.
Absolutely. Yep. No, that's a good one. That's a good general rule to have. I mean, why try and shove your kid into multiple things when they don't know what they want yet?
But I wish there was a sample platter. Maybe there is somewhere, but you know what I mean? Like,
and a sample platter is going to be different than, okay, well that, like if for whatever reason, I did a martial arts class, like, okay, you did one martial arts class. Great. Now let's do it for a month. Very different, especially from a child's point of view.
So here's the thing, sample platter, but then they get to look into deep, like, so it gets, because kid might try hockey, be like, I'm not going on that ice ever again. Or it's like, I love it. Like, and then you can go in a little bit more. It's just as parents, what's going to happen is we're laser focused human beings usually. Like we have interests. What interests we're going to show our kids? The interests we have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so, I love yoga. Our kids love doing yoga. Now, mind you, they were taught in forest school as well. But the thing is, they see what we do, right?
Yeah.
So that is their point of interest. Now, I did mention the other day, after we had that little conversation about this, is I asked Anastasia, I'm like, if you could do anything, like, what would you do? And I think she picked gymnastics. So we could try it out again at some point. It's just understanding, like, this is a huge thing where it's figuring out why, right? Yeah. Like, it's so important that, like, and that doesn't mean that, like, putting your kid in dance for one, like, semester or whatever, or term, or, like, section. I forget what they call it.
Session. Let's just call it session.
Well, it's like 10 sessions or something. Like, at least the one we did. Anyways, is not gonna,
break them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't break them. They'll
but,
be
like,
fine.
you know what I mean? Like, I know that. I'm just saying, though, it can be an easy road to get lost on.
Yes. And you're right that you want your kid to sort of pick and choose, but at the same time, it's also the kinds of, the other reason I want to do this is it's the kinds of environments where they will meet with failure and they will have to learn how to adapt and learn and grow. Like, if you're going to do martial arts, you're not going to be able to kick somebody in the head the first day, right? You're going to have to work at it and practice at it and that kind of stuff. And that sort of thing teaches you a lot of coping mechanisms as well, which you may not get at school or at home. So it's nice to have that kind of stuff in an external, in an external classroom setting where, hopefully they will persevere, or at the very least they stick to the end of it and they're like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. You're like, all right, no problem. You don't have to do it anymore. Or you try to understand, well, why don't you want to do it anymore? And if the reason is, I'm not good at it, that's a whole nother podcast about dealing with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's important to get your kids and expose them, because when they're young, they're not necessarily going to get exposed to very much unless you, as the parents, are very busy doing extracurricular activities and you're dragging them with you. Like, that's how some of our friends got their kids involved in the stuff they do, because they're like, well, I'm doing it and I got to take you with me. So you just sit here, here's just some toys, I'm going to go do it, and you just watch me do it. And then they're like, oh, like, I want to do it too, right? So it's like, okay. And then it blew up into its own thing for the kid. Now, when you get back to is the kid trying to please the parent? It's like, that's actually really hard to sort of identify. But I will share this, actually, and this is something that we've talked. We talk about this sort of thing a lot, but it is about being aware and trying to get your ego out of the way. And it happens to everybody. So I'm going to share where my ego got in the way, I think, a little bit. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So
always do.
And this is yes, true. So this is a pretty cute story. So we were Anastasia and I were shopping together, and we're grocery shopping, and we're on our way out, and then Anastasia like tugs on me and says, "Daddy," like she's whispering, "Daddy." I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, "What happened to that girl's leg?" And there was a woman standing at, I think she was waiting for her friends to come out of their line, and she had crutches and like a big cast on, or or a support structure thing that helped her keep her legs steady. And I'm like, well, it looks like she hurt her leg. And then Anastasia on her own, actually, I'm like, well, she's like, I hope she feels better. I'm like, well, why don't you go tell her that? And then so she went up to her and said, she's like, excuse me. And then she's like, what's up, honey? And then she said, I hope you get better soon. Right. Which, I'm sure made that woman's day and was very cute and everything else. But like, that was mostly Anastasia. Like, I might've just, cause she was shy. Yeah. So I helped her sort of overcome her shyness a bit to do that. And then later, like much later, similar kind of situation. Right. But I got in the way here. Anastasia was fine. She wasn't acknowledging this person at all. What I did is I pointed it out and I said, don't you have something you want to say to her? Right? So then Anastasia walked over there and said, I hope you feel better soon. And it wasn't until a bit later, but I'm like, that was two completely different situations. And she reacted completely differently in both those situations. She said the same line and she may have even meant it, but it wasn't generated from her. It was generated from me. Making her do it.
You literally said,
I said something stupid like that. Yeah, something very dumb like that. Like, I wasn't like I wasn't ordering it. Yeah. I was just sort of like suggesting it.
I wish she would have been like, don't you have something to say?
Yeah,
Daddy?
Well, she's a little young yet, so soon or something like that. But my point is, like, that was definitely generated from me. And I was like, whoa. Like, it caught me later. I'm like, I really shouldn't have done that. Like, at all. So hopefully I'll remember that. So for when other things crop up along the same lines, I'll be like, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut kind of deal. Right. So
we as parents are here to guide and nurture, not like you were talking earlier in another episode where it's like, certain people like for support, sometimes you ask people and it's like, it's more about protecting than helping you grow and learn and grow. Well, and that can be a hard thing as parents to do, right? We just see, like, our kids are still young and all I want to do is hug and protect them. I get it. The thing is, though, it's that fine and it's just like this. Like, and this is why I love helping moms. I work with moms and things like that. But I have no right to tell anybody how to parent. And we're just talking openly about like a conversation you and I had about, signing people up. Because I just thought for extracurricular activities. Yeah, because I just thought I was like, whoa, this is something we should touch upon. Yep. And the thing is, though, like we all get to parent, and I feel as long as you're parenting from a place of love, the best you can at that time, you're doing it. Things
are going to be all right.
And yeah, so as parents, yes. So like I said, I am not here to like, this is not me like, hey, this is how you need to parent. Because I believe we all have it within ourselves to parent. You know what I mean? Like anytime, like when we toilet train, like we have family members that bug me. Not even, I try to like I'm cool with it. But they try to bother me by sharing their inputs. And they think our kids need to be at a certain place in their learning curve and different things. It's like, I've learned to listen to our children. Just like we need to listen to ourselves being parents. I've learned to listen to my inner guide and our children's body language to do things. And I think that's where it all comes down to for anything, is listen to your kids and listen inside, like within yourself. Drop the ego. It doesn't matter if it's something you want to do in the past. Like you said, I love that you said you can do it now. Like that's true. Anything you could have done as a kid, you could do now.
Yep.
There's literally a group for everything, and you could totally do it now. But the thing is, it's about listening inward and watching your children. But yeah, we're here to nurture and help our children grow. We're not here to, cover their eyes up and fill them with all our beliefs.
Or mold them into something that we think they should
be. Yeah, exactly. So it's about parenting with love and from a place of love, and then yeah, just, but you know, like I said, like, you know, we as parents, we just want to keep, you know, our kids like 5 and 3, and I just want to keep them safe, like hold them tight forever. And I know that's not how we can do that. So it's that fine line. And I feel like parenting is that fine line. It's finding, you know, sometimes you'll cross it this way and you'll cross it that way. Sometimes you'll be balancing right on top of it. And it's a balancing act. And we need to just remind ourselves that they are their own person. And it's just allowing them to grow. And you know, like my need to like keep our kids safe and hug them tight and keep them safe. It's human nature to love something like that, right? But it's like when you love something, let them go. Yeah. So let them go. And
let them grow.
Exactly. So I love you sharing your input. For once, we had like a slightly heated debate going on, sort of. Like we were on both on the same side, but
it's always good when you quite like, why do you think like that? That's always good. Always makes for good radio, as it were.
Well, you were saying that they need to find their why, so I wanted to know yours.
Fair enough.
I do want to put in that I too agree in having things like doing things. It just keeps. It helps them find their interest in what they love to do. And I think that's my biggest why for them, is to get them involved in things. So it's also one of the things I'd like to get our families involved in is charity. I want our kids to be put out in the community. So they might not be signing up for dance and jiu-jitsu or whatever all the time. They might be helping out the neighborhood, because I feel that kids need to just put themselves out there. Like, I'm about giving back to the community. And they get to choose. Like, eventually they'll get, like, I have a couple things I want to help them, like, that once they get a certain age that they can help with. But even now they can do little things. And it's just for them to know giving back. And actually Anastasia with Forest School has had that as well, being part of the community and doing things. So it's outreach as well. It doesn't have to be, you know, sports or different things.
That's right.
For me, it's just having them involved in the community, being part of something, knowing that it's not just our house. It's, you know, there's more out there. And that's why I believe also traveling is very important. So for me, I don't want to just have our kids do, you know, whatever it might be after school. I want to extend it even further, because I just believe that, like, I want them to know that, you know, where we live is not the only place there is. So, like, there's a big world out there to explore, and allow them to explore it as well. So,
all right,
that's my couple cents worth of that. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed our little debate today. We would love to hear what you're doing. Our kids are literally 5 and 3, so we're just hitting the edge of the tip, like the edge of the iceberg here now. So your kids might be older or out of the house and you've already done this thing. So we'd love to hear from you, like always. So we'd love to hear your stories, what you did, and if you regret what you did, you know, it's like I guess it's not about regretting, because we've talked about, like, the book I was reading, Failing Forward. Yeah. And, like, as parents, we're going to make mistakes, right? So it's just learning from them. So, yeah, we hope you enjoyed our little debate. And we hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Bye for now.